You want to increase your closing percentage, stop answering questions. So you want to increase your closing percentage, have a proven framework, setting the intention for the call, have a discovery process that's predetermined, set yourself up as an exclusive opportunity for them to work with you.
Beyond your paycheck, it's surges of cash that you can use to grow your net worth and feed your investments.
If you can implement this, you're going to control the conversation. The potential client now thinks that maybe you have a different way of doing things that's decommoditized. Does everybody know what decommoditized means? Commodities are things that are common, right? To decommoditize, you are differentiating yourself, your product, your service, your result away from everything else they've ever tried. So if you said, hey, I do local SEO, I'm like, well, I've already tried that. Well, you can also say we have a unique, very impactful process, and you can differentiate it from the very beginning before they ever ask you the question of how are you different. We already told them, okay? So let's keep going. But this is how you stay in control. This is where I want you to pretend like you're a doctor. The next section is diagnosis. I like the doctor sales system. The doctor sales system is pretty simple. When you go into a doctor's office, if I walk into your office and the first thing you do is hand me a prescription, am I going to feel heard? Am I going to feel like I can trust you? Or are you just pushing an agenda? Right? So a doctor doesn't do that. Doctor talks to you and has a discovery session. They say, tell me about your symptoms. What's going on? How long has that been going on? What have you tried to fix it? What hasn't worked? What relieves the symptoms? What else may be happening? Are you having problems with this? Are you having troubles with this? And then they diagnose you, and then they write you a prescription. Or they tell you about, here's what I recommend from here. Sales conversations, not closing, but sales conversations are just doctor conversations, right? Amy alluded to it earlier. I have a system where there's 3 things I need to know. I need to know, what they've experienced, and what they want. I cannot tailor a solution or a pitch without understanding those 3 things, right? Marketing is the exact same thing. But I want to be able to ask the questions that allow me to recommend the next steps. And you've got to be comfortable with that. Maybe it's not me who's going to be able to help you, right? Pretty easy stuff? Okay. So after that, we're going to write the prescription. This is kind of based off our conversation. Here's what I recommend. And you get to choose. You're in control. We're not letting them ask us questions about our credibility. We're not letting us ask questions about case studies. We're going to get to all that in just a minute. But we're not letting them do this. We're in control of this conversation. That's the key. Have you ever been on a conversation where you felt like you weren't in control? Someone had you on the heels from the very beginning. They're asking you questions. They're drilling you. They're questioning your authority, questioning how good you are at what you do, questioning everything. This is a way you can control it from the very beginning. There's still going to be assholes that push you off that path, which I can teach you later how to get back on it pretty easily, but this is the key, right? And we only give them the right prescription if they fit our ideal win scenario, if they're the right client for us, and our offer fixes their problem. If it doesn't, we don't pitch. There's a lot of people, I'm not going to ask this question, but I know from asking people in the past, do you pitch every time you get on a sales call? Quite a few people say yes. Absolutely not. Do you think a doctor writes a prescription for everyone that comes in the building? They shouldn't, or they should be arrested. It's the same thing with you. You're selling shit to people that don't need it, or you're offering something to somebody who doesn't need it. It doesn't make any sense, right? Let's keep going. It's like offering a fish a snorkel. They don't give that. They don't need that. It's true. And without a good discovery session, you're going to give a Band-Aid to somebody with a headache. Or you're going to try to give Tylenol to somebody with a gaping wound. You just don't know. You have to ask these questions, right? So if the diagnosis is great, it seems like your business is a perfect fit for what we offer. We work with many clients who came to us in the exact same scenario that you are in today, and we have been able to consistently produce results for clients like yourself again and again, and I'd love the opportunity to work with you and get you the same results. If that's the diagnosis, that's the prescription, that's an easy thing, building confidence, right? From there, it could be negative. It seems like it's not going to be a good fit. We ideally work with people who are already here. They have sales teams in place. They have multiple ways that they're generating revenue now, so they're not hoping we're going to be their savior and come in with the next marketing thing that's going to save their business. We don't work with businesses in distress because it's just not a good working relationship for our team members. You have to be able to be good with saying that. We work with businesses that have predetermined budgets. We work with businesses who value advertising and who are looking to actively grow. We're not looking for businesses who don't have any pains. We can't help somebody who's not in pain. So let's keep going. I want you to think about this. So in business acquisitions, what does Carl always say? Our goal is to be a safe pair of hands. And a safe pair of hands in acquisitions is buying a business from somebody, and we're the safe pair of hands to continue their legacy. We're the safe pair of hands to make sure their employees are protected. We're the safe pair of hands that understands the business and the little things that make a big difference, right? But when you're taking someone's money, they also are looking for you to be a safe pair of hands. They want you to be the person that's going to care for them and have a fiduciary relationship, not a client relationship. You guys know the difference? Okay? You want me to say it? So fiduciary is the act of not just having like a client and a business, but instead it's like a concierge. It's where you really have the best interest of your client in heart. You may look at the word fiduciary seen most often in the financial field. It's somebody who's a financial advisor where they're not pushing a product or an agenda, but instead truly trying to help the client get what they want. So look at it more of that type of thing, okay? Number 2, always control the delivery of the offer, the proposals. This is the one thing Spencer and I switched on his that made all the difference in the world. Often we get to the point where we may be pitching every time, or we get on a phone call, we feel like it went great, we send the proposal, and nothing ever comes back but crickets. And it's frustrating and it's demoralizing, right? Has anybody ever done that? It's huge, right? So I think the key to this is understanding, first of all, before we get into how to deliver it, should we be focused on one-call closes, or should we be doing the system of always sending a proposal and scheduling a follow-up? Is there a right or wrong answer? It's both. It's neither. Neither both. It depends on the scenario, right? So let's go over each scenario. Some scenarios, it makes no sense not to one-call close it. They're chomping at the bit. They want to get started. They have great expectations. Their expectations for you are proper. They already have a budget. They've already been doing their shopping. They understand everything there is to know, and they're ready to move forward. There's no reason to send a proposal. Sign them up right there and take a credit card. But for a lot of the times, using a proposal and being able to have a moment to craft a solution and then have the ability to present it yourself is what's really going to close the prospects correctly, okay? So let's go one call close first, right? I love using this pitch on the first call. I like to tell them why I created my unique process rather than tell them about my unique process, because we want to decommoditize what we offer, right? You may offer local SEO for local business. No, you have to have a system. You have to have something that makes it feel like it's not the same thing that they've always done before, whether it's a made-up word or an acronym for your process or something that people have heard 100 times, but just be able to decommoditize it a little bit to help people have an understanding that, I know you may have tried this before, but this is different. We have a different result. We have a unique benefit, unique mechanism, something that makes it unique. I can sell things that aren't unique, but it's harder to sell things that are not unique. So I'm trying to teach you a better way to do it, where you're not having all this resistance. But let me tell you why we created this. Let me tell you why we created Search Atlas. Could you imagine if your team was pitching it that way? What would change? Let me tell you why we created Search Atlas. We created Search Atlas because of people just like you. We were working with clients who had been doing this and doing that, and it wasn't working, and we knew there was a better way, and we went and did this, and we went and it's a story. And this is why it's so effective. This is why it's better. This is why it's different. This is why you get a better result with us. This is why it's unlike anything you've ever tried before. Let me tell you about the spray foam genius method. Let me tell you why your average transaction value is dropping year after year. Let me tell you why there's not as much demand in the market as you thought there used to be, but that's actually a lie. Let me tell you why I created this. Here's the scenario. Here's the case study. Here's this. Here's why we did it this way. Here's the moment of clarity this is the epiphany moment when it happened. I love talking about the moment of clarity, the epiphany moment, the origination point of the decommoditized process. It's crazy. You know what else that does? Is it teaches them how to sell you to the other person in their life that needs to bless the sale. It's huge. No, you got to understand, Ryan's business, Dunzo, is unlike anything we've ever seen, John. I know we've tried a lot of people, and she's going to go and regurgitate your sales pitch to her husband to get his approval. It's amazing. People want it. They need to feel like it's different. I also like to educate people. I like to give very, very specific examples. I think if you can't talk about case studies in a sales pitch, you need to go out there and work for free and get some case studies. People need to feel confident in that you're a safe pair of hands, that you've done this before, that you can predict success. You have to be able to do that. So educate them. And the other thing is setting expectations. This is a tough one in SEO, right? Setting expectations on how long it's going to take. Setting expectation, this is not a magic potion that's going to deliver results overnight. Learning how to do that correctly is really important, because it's all about, in closing, not sales, but closing, one of the biggest things to move the needle is removing resistance and ahead of time. You're going to get resistance and objections at the end. You can remove that up front if you learn how to speak to people, okay? So let's keep going. So let's go to proposal and follow-up. what I like to do when I get to the point where I say, all right, so here's what I recommend based off our conversation. Obviously, we've got a lot of issues. I like to always over-exaggerate the problems. I restate all the issues, right? I restate my primary unique method. And I say, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'd like to do right now. We're going to go ahead and schedule a call. It's going to be on Thursday. What time works for you? Let's get it on the calendar right now. I'll send you an invite. All right, did you get it? Make sure it's on the calendar always, right? From there, I'm going to tell them what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to go check 3 of the other accounts that I have that are almost exactly the same as yours. And I'm going to go find some very relevant case studies as well. And I'm going to make sure that your scenario is something that I can absolutely solve. And then we're going to talk on Thursday. I'm going to create a proposal, and I will show it to you on Thursday, and we'll talk about the next best steps. But never send the proposal. We want them to be able to see through our eyes. We want to be able to retain the right to present the information. This is a sales pitch. This is a closing pitch. Yet you're giving it to them to read on their own. They're skimming it. They're on the toilet. They're in the line at the grocery store. They're skimming it. They're looking at the highlighted areas in the bold letters. You're literally pissing away your opportunity to have a carefully choreographed performance to sell your product. Let them see through your eyes. Right? It's crazy. People just give this away. But you have to retain the right. Like, you have to have the opportunity to let people see this through your eyes.